Hello everyone, your voice here and welcome to our channel Sansevieria 101. So for this episode, I'm going to feature yet another cultivar coming from the trifasciata species. I have already shown this cultivar from the previous episode from where it came from. It's the Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash, and the previous episode is Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Variations. That was the specimen that is having a very unstable chimeric uh, genes on them. So they are having a very unstable variegated pattern. Some leaves would have just half a variegated part. Some leaves would have just one line of yellow variegation. Some would just have the central yellowish variegation on the middle part of the leaf. So that was the Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Inspiration. I'm just following someone's work, and that person is Chinayan. He referred to those types of variegations which are not stable. He referred to them as striolations. So I have coined the name for that specimen, the previous episode, Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Inspiration, because it is having a very unstable variegated pattern or very unstable characteristics because it has mericlinal chimeric genes. So some of the leaves are having just half variegated, some of the leaves would have the central variegations, and some would just have one yellow line on a leaf. So Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Striation, I coined them as such because it is a specimen that would give you stable offsets in the future. So for specimens that are unstable, they are called striations. For specimens that are having stable genes or periclinal chimeric genes, they are called striolations. So one that is in front of you right now can be considered a trifasciata striolation, but it has already a name, which is Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash. And this is, by the way, one of my best specimens. I'm going to back down a bit or back out a bit so that you can see how my Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash looks like. Alright, so that is how the plant looks like at a full view. So we are going to focus on the plant again, and we are going to discuss the characteristics. So like I mentioned on the previous episode, Sansevieria Moonshine Splash may come from Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Striolations, the specimen that I've shown you. As proof, I have declumped it or separated pups from it, two of which resulted to Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash, which is the same cultivar as what I am showing in front of you right now. This is a different from a different specimen, although this is one of the best specimens of Moonshine Splash that I have. So I'm just sharing to everyone else how it would look like. Alright, so let me back up a bit so you can see the whole plant. Alright, so that's how the Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash looks like. Alright, so we are going to discuss the variations on them, and then we will take measurements so you can see how big the plant in actuality, and we are going to discuss the variations on it. So like I mentioned, Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash can be considered as striolated trifasciata, because the meaning of striolated according to Chinayan is having stable chimeric genes, and the pattern on this one would be yellow, white, yellow. Actually, the white here is because the actual coloration of moonshine, which is pale green, plus these lines, the very thin yellow lines on the middle part, combined and gave you a whitish coloration. So the pattern would be, this is the actual color of moonshine, by the way. So it is green, then followed by a very unique. This is a green variegation. This is a green variegation. So actually, Moonshine Splash is having a complex pattern. This is the normal pale green clone, which is the moonshine. This is the green variegation. This is the yellow variegation. This is a combination of the base color of moonshine plus the very thin yellow variegations combined, and it gave you a whitish coloration instead. So on the middle part, it is stable to have this on Moonshine Splash. It is stable for Moonshine Splash to have these yellow parts and these green parts as well. And also, folks, you can consider Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash as a tricolored trifasciata. As what I'm showing you right now, it's having complex pattern. This is, like I said, the base coloration of moonshine. This one is a green variegation that is overlapping with the yellow variegation. This is the first base color, first variegation, second variegation, and a combination of the lightly concentration of yellow and the base coloration of moonshine, and again reverse to yellow, the green variegation, and the actual coloration of or the base coloration of moonshine. So that is the stable pattern of Sansevieria moonshine. If I move to another leaf, it's not exactly that it has to have the same size of the pattern, but it's stable to that extent. So pale green color, the green variegation, the yellow variegation, the whitish, again yellow, then a little of green, and on this side of the leaf you can see the base coloration of moonshine. So it is stable, but not to the extent that it has to be really uniform to each and every leaf. So what I'm basically saying is that three elements of the colors are present on each and every leaf of moonshine, making it a staple cultivar compared to what I've shown you as the Sansevieria trifasciata moonshine striolation. So this is another example. This, by the way, is damage coming from too much sun. So before, I have located it in position wherein it gets direct sunlight without filter, so the UV rays would do this much damage to the plant. But right now, what I did was put a protective net to fix that issue, so it can have all the heat it needed, minus the UV rays that cause burns. So going back though, here's the pattern: base coloration, the green variegation. You can also see a very thin yellow variegation, then the whitish color in the middle part, again yellow, green, and then the base coloration. So the cultivar is actually stable when it comes to having the same elements on every leaf. Not exactly the same measure of how thick the variegations or the marginations on them, but all the leaves should have the same elements on each and every leaf, making Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash a very stable cultivar. So Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash came from Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Striolation, and Moonshine Striolation came from Moonshine. So that is why this cultivar is called Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash. All right, so I guess we are done with the discussing the pattern and the variations on this cultivar. So we'll take measurements, and as always, I will have this tool here. Let me just clean it a bit because I think this is a mark from the water coming from rain. It's been raining non-stop here in our location, so I'm going to turn it on and set it to zero. Zero, as you can see, and then it is measuring in the scale of millimeter. So we will take this leaf first, and we will measure it so that we have a record of the measurements of the leaves. So there you go. First leaf would be at 68.8 millimeters. Second leaf, I'm just going to measure the widest leaf because they're the most significant in growth rate. We don't actually measure the thinnest or the narrowest leaf because we don't need that for records, because some of the trifasciatas would really sometimes grow very thin leaves. So I guess we are averaging 67 to 68 millimeters. Let's find another leaf, perhaps this leaf at the back here. All right, so this one's the widest. It's at 76.9 millimeters. So later on, we'll get a comparison on each and every trifasciatas that we have already recorded. And so far, the wide leaf varieties are Sansevieria Future, Sansevieria Robust, Sansevieria Future Extreme, Sansevieria Simplex, and the normal Moonshine. So for this variegated type of moonshine, which is called Sansevieria trifasciata Moonshine Splash, it would record 77 millimeters in comparison to just the moonshine having 90 millimeters in leaf width. So there is actually a big difference between the normal moonshine and the variegated moonshine. So I guess it's safe to say that if the plant is non-variegated, it would grow wider compared to the variegated counterparts, with the exception of Sansevieria trifasciata Future Extreme because it's extremely wide, even though with the variegations that are occurring on their leaf. So we have measured the leaf width. We'll measure the leaf length, and as always, I have this trusty 24-inch ruler. And I'm just going to do it as such. Alright folks, it's kind of hard because it's not growing as erect as it can be, but there you go. That is the actual leaf length, and it is at 12 inches. Alright, so 12 inches in comparison to the normal moonshine that reaches almost 24 inches, almost half, because it's non-variegated in comparison to the variegated ones, which has stunted. That's my own personal observation, that if the Sansevieria is variegated, it would have slower growth rate in comparison to the non-variegated ones. So folks, I guess this is it for the content, and if you like it, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you everyone for your time.